Hello everyone, I'm CA Vaibhav Jain and today I'll be covering 5 misconceptions, 5 mistakes we make as students preparing for professional exams like CA, CS, CMA, CFA, etc. So the number one misconception is study time. So what about study time? On internet, we often get to hear claims like he or she has studied for 16 hours, 18 hours, claims by faculties and other students, and we tend to believe it as usual. So this has an impact on our studies. How? I'll tell you. When I have put in 8 to 10 hours of my study today and I have heard that he or she has put in 16 hours to clear the exams, I feel that I've fallen short of 6 hours. I'll try to stretch myself and I'll try to study 16 hours. This in turn will result in my preparation not being to the efficient level because I have done more than what I could do, and in turn I have compromised on my sleep. Sleep is very important. This in turn affects my mental health also. All these things have a effect on our preparation as well as on our exams, and this in turn affects our results. So what I believe and I suggest is you should try to find out what is the optimum number of hours for you. For me it was 8 to 10 hours, for you it might be more or less, and on that basis you should decide your preparation and make a schedule for yourself on that basis rather than believing any xyz on the internet. The second misconception is of workout, of physical exercise. So we tend to ignore workout and physical exercise, and we try to give a blatant excuse that we do not have time for exercise. So even I have prepared for exams, so I'm telling you that we are lying to ourselves. And why I'm saying that is because in while preparing for exams, you should not try to go for the heavy weight exercises, heavy weight lifting, because it might result in an injury. You should try to go for either lightweight weightlifting or you could go for cardio. So what I did, I'll tell you, I used to go for walks, 30 minutes walks, let's say, and I used to put on a video. So if you are going for a walk and you put on my FR video of any index, and let's say the video is of 45 minutes and you watch it on 1.5x. So you'll cover the video in 30 minutes, and with that you have also completed a physical exercise of 30 minutes. And when you come back home, you can directly solve questions of that index. So you have covered the index that day. What happens is physical exercise has a direct effect on your mental health. You can search it on the internet also. And when you do physical exercise, your preparations become more effective and efficient. This in turn again has an effect on your exams and results as well. So therefore this is again a chain, and you should not break the chain. You should not stop physical workout. You can stop it during exams but not before exams. There is no reason to stop workout 2 months before exams. So that is the mistake we are making here. The third mistake is we try to become a sadhu by sacrificing everything and locking ourselves in a room. If it works for you, it can work for you, but what is the general thing? We get that dabba wala phone and we use that dabba phone, and then we crave to use YouTube or any other apps. So while craving, it's better to go and use YouTube for 5-10 minutes, so you will not crave YouTube and you can get back to studying. So if you can control your that craving, if you can control, if you go to YouTube, watch a 5-minute video and you can come back and study, only then you should have those apps on your phone. But definitely you should uninstall infinite scrolling apps like Instagram and Pinterest, etc., because those are definitely distractions. YouTube can be a distraction and can be a boon also. So what I used to do is I used to follow the Pomodoro technique. So after a 45-minute study session, I used to take a 15 minutes break after my next study session. In those 15 minutes, I wanted to refresh my mind. So I used to watch stand-up comedy sometimes. So I used to go on YouTube, watch a 5-7 minute stand-up set and come back and sit and study. And I had that control on YouTube at least. I had unsubscribed from all the channels which were no need during those times. So I did not get unnecessary feed on my subscription also. So these things are to be taken care of, and you can use some apps but definitely not Instagram and these other apps like Pinterest, etc. So you can become a sadhu if it is suiting you. You can have a small phone and lock yourself in room if it suits you. But if it does not, then there are alternatives which you should think about. The fourth mistake I'll talk about is not focusing on mental peace. Mental peace again has an effect on your preparation. If you are not mentally peaceful, mentally stable, you'll have to give up on your preparations. You'll waste time overthinking things and waste time procrastinating. So whatever is the issue which is disturbing you, you should try to think about it and overcome it. It might be family issues, it might be not having a good place to study, so you should try to go to a nearby library, or it might be any other issues on which I've already talked about above or I'll talk about next. So any of the issues you should try to get rid of. Like I'll tell you something, when we are preparing for the CA exams, it is a big thing to do. So we should not have two big things at a time in our plate. If we are preparing for exams, we cannot additionally bear the burden of any other family tension or anything. So you have to think about it. You have to have only one big issue in your life, that is CA exams. And once you get rid of all other big issues, you can focus on it and crack it. So mental peace has to be given importance, which is not given enough, and nobody talks about it while preparing for exams, because as students we tend to ignore it, but it affects our preparations. And the last point is we tend to become a collector of notes. Why am I saying that is, I've seen people who have like notes of one index of notes of 5 teachers. Bhavik Chokshi sir, Praveen Jindal sir, Praveen Sharma sir, my notes, Jay Chawla sir's notes. So I do not understand why are you having 5 notes of a one topic, of one index. So I think that rather than becoming a collector of notes, it's not a souvenir which you will collect and distribute or show off. These are not souvenirs. You should rather use it as tools. You should rather use it as a tool to preparation, as a utility. So what you should do is you should be sure that whose notes you want to study from first, and you should be finalizing notes for every topic, because during exams it will create a havoc if you do not have a short notes for yourself compiled. So if you want to study, let's say, financial instrument from Jay Chawla sir's notes, you should have that for sure, that you will not refer any other notes, because multiple sources, as I mentioned in a community post, revising multiple times from a single source is 1,000 million times better than revising limited number of times from multiple sources. So if you become a collector of notes, you will rather become a collector only and not a CA. So you have to understand this point, because this is a big mistake. Before ending the video, I also want to discuss some recent issues which you all told me in my community tab. So some people told me that they are feeling demotivated. So let me talk about that. Motivation can be internal and external, as I told you. So if you are temporarily demotivated, you can better watch a YouTube video and overcome it and go for studying. But if you face a long-term demotivation, it is because you are not clear why are you doing this and all. So you should firstly be sure that you are doing this and you want to do it, and only then you can be internally motivated. Times might be tough sometimes because we have lots to study, and sometimes time is less, and all these issues are there. I understand, I have also faced it, but there is no other alternative. We cannot help it, so we have to deal with it. Secondly, some people told that they are having issues with respect to consistency. So I'll say just only one line, that if you cannot be consistent in the last 30 days before exam, you will have to be consistent for 6 months more, because you will be appearing for the next attempt. Are you understanding me? So consistency is not a choice now, it's a necessity. So you have to be consistent, that is a truth. The third issue which people said, that they are not able to remember things. So on that, what I recommend is that you should understand firstly what is the memory span of ours. So we have a memory span of 4 to 7 days. What we study today, we'll tend to forget it by the next week. So if you are human, you will understand this concept. If you are non-human, then you will say that मैं 16 घंटा पढ़ूंगा और मेरे को सब याद रहेगा. That is a non-human thing to say. So if you are a human like me, and if you understand this, then what you should also understand is there is a concept called spaced repetition, on which I can make a separate video if you want. So spaced repetition says that after every reasonable interval, you should revise a topic which you have already done in the past, so that it does not slip out of your mind. So you have to do proper revisions. This leads me to the fourth issue, that people are making a mistake, is they do not have a plan, a schedule. And I have already told you that you should take a day off, half a day off, and make a schedule for the next 30 days or whatever time is left for the exams. Because without a schedule, if you wake up, you do not have a defined goal, which is a very, very big mistake to do. You should have a defined goal for every day, and you should try to accomplish it. It gives you a sense of achievement and you sleep well. Simple as that. So these small steps have to be taken. Best of luck for your exam.